Right, so welcome to Starfinder, the Fragments of Eternity, session 71. It has been. I don't know why it says the 21st of October. Why does it say that in this? It's the 5th. We're not time travelling quite like Zig.
If
There we go, I fixed that. Man, it was going so well. 5th October. Anyway, so. Welcome to Starfinder, the Fragments of Eternity, session 71. It's the 5th of October 2020, which means it's been over 2 years since this game started. 2 years of Starfinder.
4 more years.
Yeah, right. 4 more years of Ryan developing this every single inch of this solar system, I think, with a random backstory.
Starfinder 2 by the time that it's finished.
Here's the thing, do we think we're getting a Starfinder 2?
Probably not.
Hope not.
You know what? Actually, I think they will.
Like,
It seems like Starfinder has a bit of a community.
I was gonna say, it is picking up, it is getting more popular, right?
Is it?
Yeah, like, weirdly. Not to shit on it.
Who knows?
You know, it might not be in the next couple of years, but I would say down the line, I would be shocked if we don't see at least a second edition.
Fix your
of it.
poison rules and we might go back.
Or just
I was
get rid of
thinking
them.
could they just release the same game but remove half the rules?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
We don't need a Starfinder 2, we need a Starfinder Slim version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a pocket edition of the rulebook. Just so you know. But I imagine
You know
that
what?
is
Sometimes it is
terrible.
convenient, but it's like you go in to buy like a tabletop rulebook and you get like standard edition, pocket edition, gamer edition, legendary, hardcore gamer
Also,
edition.
Colin, here is the t-shirt, the aforementioned on stream.
Oh yes, is it Batman Black Rain or whatever it is?
So, it is obviously Batman. There is no specific subtext other than all of it is words from the comic. As you can-
Okay.
let me just zoom.
Nice.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
it's words.
all of it's
You
words.
can't read them.
Hello, Aspen. I don't know who you are, Aspen. Are you a person I should know?
Yeah, it's Aspen. Everyone say hello.
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 No, that's
And the
That
three
was
bits.
unenthusiastic voice ever.
Yeah. So I guess happy anniversary, everybody, live. I guess this time. That's the second anniversary we've made it through. We are still somehow playing this game. The game itself is fun. The rules, yep, those are things. I think it's weirdly appropriate that Zig couldn't make the anniversary. Weirdly.
It's how we started.
Yeah, right. So
Full circle.
it's very fitting. Yeah.
It's what his character would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm Ryan, the GM. Here are the players.
Alright, it's me, your boy Weird, and I will be played by Alex, the human status.
Hi guys, it's your boy Nico here.
I feel mocked.
Coming right at you. Playing the Zora the Vest Captain.
I feel badly mocked. In the sense that it's not a good mocking.
Hello. I have neither a monotone nor a Glaswegian accent, so I fear that my delivery will be less comical. So let me spruce it up. Hello, my name. no. Sorry. Hello.
You can tell it's been
Can
2
you
years
do-
because as soon as he took a breath, I turned down my headphones.
Do you know? Can you do your whole intro like that though?
Probably not because it hurts after a while.
It sounds like
I mean, it's we've put up with you for 2 years. Can we get an attempt?
No. Hello, I am Colin. I will be playing Lyco Quinn. He is your resident spooky, sneaky space cop, coast to coast. Currently doing bad medicine. By which I mean doing medicine badly. By medicine I mean
Your love is like bad medicine.
it's like a red rose. That's a Robbie Burns ref.
Mentions their song reference. Your love is like bad medicine. And bad medicine is what I need.
Get that burns injected into my veins.
What was it? Bad
Good
Medicine
song.
by Bon Jovi?
Not
Mm.
Bad Company by Bad Company.
Mm.
Or Bad Medicine by Lady Gaga.
I don't know if I've heard that.
No, it's good.
Is it
She
the
pronounces it weird.
Is it the Bon Jovi song she's just taken?
Yeah, but she's covering it in the style of Bad Company.
That works for me. I need to have a wee listen to it.
I am not familiar with that.
Same.
But I will keep my ears open for
It's
it.
definitely something that exists.
I like Lady Gaga. Lady
Gaga.
Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
I don't enjoy like every little thing that I hear of hers,
Mhm.
but I really do like some of her stuff, and I respect her talent.
Yeah, I think very talented, creative, in general.
Like she's one of the few people whose albums I buy. Right, I've only got a few of them, but I own a few of her albums. Now, aside from like brand new, or like lights, there aren't many people whose albums I'd buy. Glory Hammer, I've got a couple of those, because they're just so fucking funny. But I buy her stuff because she's really good at her craft, even if she's not necessarily my favorite. It's like there's something really impressive.
So small Crywolf conspiracy chat for a bit, but I definitely am convinced that given the social and public PR suicide that Michael Jackson's career was going through, I definitely feel like as a Time Lord he decided to regenerate into Lady Gaga, because the timelines sync up quite nicely for her becoming mega famous and existing, and Jackson leaving us. So yeah.
I would like to hope not. But I do buy in to the conspiracy theory that Lady Gaga could get it.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Dear God. Is that really a conspiracy theory?
No, I just wanted
Like-
you to think I was going to say something different. And
I don't know. Like, I feel like you're under the impression any of us here think better of you.
Well, you'd be, yeah, at this point, it would just be remiss if you thought well of me. It'd be praised.
Oh dear. Anyway, what do you remember from last session?
Medical scans.
There were definitely scans. Anything else? Suspicion.
Regarding the influence of the Greys, potentially, on the crew.
Yep.
Both the crew of the Kivallari and the crew of the Final Hour.
Yep.
Because we were clearly showing some signs similar to the chap, which suggested maybe some mental manipulation going on there. But Zig, who, as the viewers today will notice, is often absent, was not showing such signs. And therefore we kind of sort of concluded that, well, he didn't have any contact with the Greys. This crew member that we're seeing these similar readings on dead. So yeah, we haven't scanned the captain yet. Who knows what his Vesk anatomy would do, and maybe it wouldn't react the same way. But I think so far we have some good reason to suspect maybe something,
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption.
is
Yeah.
present. Some sort of after effect, maybe. May not even be malicious or even like noticeable in any way, but there's something there.
No, I'd
Which
say
at
that's
the
fair.
very least is concerning.
Much concern about brain scans. Agreed. What about from our wonderful mechanic boy?
I was mostly just making friends.
How
And influencing
and
much do we believe
established-
that? Yeah.
I was establishing a new hierarchy aboard the ship. Trying to develop some
Captain
form of
3, we
management
call that.
structure. Yeah.
Captain level 1, Captain level 2. You should probably just.
Oh, I declared myself a captain as well.
You're like, aye, sure.
The other session. But that
Yes.
sort of came into effect this time. Because this is my ship now, damn it. Or at least temporarily it is.
I just had to make myself an admiral, right?
I mean, you should just have called yourself that as soon as you had more than one ship, rather than Captain 2.
Like, I mean, look,
Commander.
Thing is though, Zig
stupid
is
AI was
Commodore,
like-
right? Zig is
the
Commodore.
stupid AI was
He
like-
claimed it.
The stupid AI was like, fucking, right, you've got rank 2, and I'm like, right, sound.
Oh, you're blaming
Alright,
Finn
dear.
now. What fell? Something fell. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
I don't.
It could have been.
Finn may have suggested just sticking a 2 in the end. I don't remember that, but I'll believe you. But you didn't have to go with it. Remember,
You really did
you
not
could
have
have
to.
said, "No, I will have an actual title." But then I suppose it's very Vesk of him to not use a proper title.
Is it though? I mean, they're all about titles.
Yeah, but their titles are things like the Destroying Darkness or the Smash.
No,
Bastard.
that's their god, is the Destroying Darkness, right?
Yeah, but like the titles that they
Which I will
have
destroy.
are more just a sequence of threatening words, rather than like, you know, Lieutenant Second Class, Lieutenant. You know, there's no lieutenants in the Veskarium, right?
Mm.
There's like the Abyss and such like. It's
The Event Horizon, the Abyss. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Grave, Epoch, Annihilator.
Grave Epoch Annihilator. Just spooky words.
But maybe that's just for the ones we see on screen. What about all the nice ones? Like,
Like that mechanic
Rainbow.
that he got like threatened.
yeah.
I think.
Me, I'm a fucking nice Vesk.
I think if you have to
Among the
preface it,
nicest Vesk.
that.
Joyous guy. Chuckling lizard.
The chuckling lizard.
He's not the worst entity we've encountered.
That is
No.
true. I actually think he ranks
really.
higher than Zig. So that's
In
In
good.
terms of the
Separate
horrifying
occasions,
death that he's
I have
inflicted on
tried
people.
diplomacy before killing. And both times we fucked up and they shot me anyway, right? So
I mean,
fuck
yeah,
diplomacy.
but
Right.
you are a Vesk diplomat, so you've met the criteria by simply having tried.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Oh, he tried diplomacy. It didn't occur to me.
I fucking tried, alright, and it failed.
I like the idea that when
Sure,
you
all good.
when you
Stupid
report to your
diplomacy.
Vesk superiors and you go, I tried to talk them down. What, did you run out of ammo? Like, I think that's the initial response they give you, right? Where they assume that you ran out of bullets, so you had to talk them down. And maybe your arms didn't work because you couldn't just maul them to death. Yeah.
Well, that's just unfair, right? That's just racial fucking. That's just racism, right?
I mean,
Like, just because I'm a Vesk, I can't
Oh,
be nice.
It's
That's that,
speciesism.
yeah,
you know.
speciesist.
You're from a
But,
completely different galaxy. You're
Wow.
not even remotely related to anyone else.
Wow.
Oh, now it's coming out, right? Like, you know,
Oh,
you're not my real mom.
Is that, maybe the Pact World should build a wall. That's all I'm saying.
Oh
Like a
dear.
Dyson sphere around the solar system.
Lyco for president. Hashtag
Maybe I should have
build
just stuck with my Vesk forever.
that wall.
Took all the Pact Worlds. Like, maybe I should have just done this. Like,
That's unfair.
likes me
I,
then anyway.
I didn't say that. I said that.
Is that worse? Anyway,
Lyco should be tarred with the same brush as his voice actor.
wow. Just, I don't even know what's happening anymore, other than like shade, lots of it. But I mean,
Shade
you
and
know,
sadness.
yeah, right.
Sadness in his eyes.
Okay, so shade aside. Okay, shade aside. Let's have a look at the goals, and we'll review them. So, currently, for goals,
stuff.
we've got, for Zora's personal goal, discover what Dmogesh's intentions are on board the final hour and fleece him for information on his operations. Possible vent the prick.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in that goal. That's like a Zig level goal.
Like, it's right, like the possible vent, the prick, right, is just like a secondary objective, right? That doesn't really count. Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, yep. Right. Lyco currently is Blanc. We have
I am actually just having a brain thought at the moment. Investigate after effects of close encounter of the third kind.
okay. So that's like an everyday, right?
No, because they would have to be specifically unknown.
I
The
see.
degrees are kind of meeting that category, I think.
So I think what you mean is of the greys.
You want me to rephrase it in some sort of specific way?
Yeah, weirdly. The fact that I'm letting you do goals before the game is a big thing. So Weird has established cybernetics business, limbs are us, the body hole,
Crazy.
bone, brain and beyond, or is that Limble?
I don't remember the body hole, but that is
I remember body hole. Yeah.
quite a phrase.
Everyone wants to be part of the body hole.
It's the happening place to be. And then Ziggs is the surprisingly simple goal, actually, which is get to vault, get egg, and then scored out be happy-ish. He's not even willing to settle for happy-ish. This is a grim game. Oh dear. So
I love that boy. He's such a mess.
then we've got the general goals, which are secure Key Valaria until crew corpses delete as possible and take to relative safety. We've got
We're well on our way, I feel like that.
fix the Azure Flare, as well as there. Determine how involved or complicit Babak was. Wonderful Commander Babak. And reintegrate with the crew and bring them up to date as Zig's additional entry to this.
I think would be
I
completed.
don't know what second goal.
Yeah, I'm going to just update
Yeah.
yours because apparently the Greys is an A with the way they spell it in the book, which is bizarre.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a strange one.
I'll make my goal a bit more PG. Then the goon. There we go. He's a goon.
Okay. I'll let him know.
Absolute good. Totally.
Grave Epoch Annihilator. This just in from Agent Zora. You're a goon, sir. A what? A goon. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I thought goon.
It's a bit like dank, sir. Used to be bad, might now be good. We'll check space Instagram. Oh dear. Also, that guy needs to be named now. The assistant to Demogesh. Whatever the fuck he'd be called. I'll put him on a note somewhere. Name
The turbulent unpleasantness.
Demogesh is...
Vicious staple.
Name
The
Demogesh
negative
is
connotation.
attendant. That sounds more like an Ian Banks ship.
Never read any Ian Banks.
Good shit, man.
I don't know
And
if...
I might.
I was going to say,
at some
I
point.
don't know if you'd like it. I think you'd love Player of Games, but I don't know if you would like the rest. I don't know if it's a bit
I've
too...
been told to read Player of Games.
I thoroughly
I'm
enjoyed
always
it.
suspicious when people
I
tell me to read
fucking
games.
loved Dada Phlebus just for the sheer space opera, and the main character was minted. But
I need to finish reading that. I have started that book about 4 times. Anyway, so this game. So
it's a mind.
the wonders that are this game. So we've got goals, and Lyco's, just to reiterate, is investigate the after effects of encounters with the Greys. Blah 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 blah. What is it you're trying to learn from that, right? What is the...
If there are going to be any lingering problems, like shooting yourself in the head, maybe,
Hmm.
or if there's any information that we could glean from it that might actually be useful,
Okay.
just whether that be to us, to the stewards, if we could get some useful information in the Greys out of that encounter, that'd be a big deal.
Mhm.
Be good, right? That,
Yeah.
that's a worthwhile thing.
Valuable to the right
try.
people as well, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
MD, any idea for a general goal? We do have an empty slot.
Um.
Oh, I've fucked that up. There we go, it's fixed.
Kick bubblegum.
No. Unless Bubblegum's some new character that we're gonna put in.
And
Is that gonna be that?
cheer
Is that gonna be that attendant? Yeah, Demogesh's attendant.
Oh.
Bubblegum. It means something really aggressive and Vesk.
Yeah.
Like medkit, obviously.
So, what do we want to achieve?
Nico, you got any
next?
ideas for that general goal? Yeah. You got
Oof.
you got a general goal.
I don't actually know. Like, I've kind of got a lot of it
Do you?
doing already, but I don't really know. I've already got the Demogesh thing, so that doesn't really help. Can't really make that general goal for the group as well, because I don't have a fucking clue who's there.
Introduce Mogesh to all the people.
And just my bro. To the crew.
Brogesh, yeah.
Elbow drop the Mogesh. There you go. That's got a level of challenge in it, right?
I would like the elbow drop Demogesh. I'm not gonna lie.
Can you imagine
I
the
don't
actual
know.
like the outcome, right? If Zora just straight up killed Mogesh, right? Just think of the political implications that has in the
isn't
solar
that,
system.
like,
It's
I
kind
don't
of
know,
what I
I'm
want,
not Trekkie enough to know if that's an actual thing, but the term in... Is it TV Tropes uses the term, like, Klingon promotion?
Yeah, like
To refer to the idea
yeah,
of, like,
mhm.
taking a higher post by just killing the person
Yep.
who holds it.
that is very much a Klingon thing.
I mean, and aren't the Vesk basically lizard Klingons?
like yeah,
Hey, don't you speak to me like that.
I'm gonna just say yeah.
You're fucking civilized. You do not.
You,
Right,
you
we're not-
Scots sure are contentious. You've
We are
just
not
made an enemy for life.
genocidal. As long as you submit and become part of Viscarium, you're fine.
Yeah. Or you're the Skittermander.
Mongols,
What if the
or
Vesk
space
ever done
Mongols,
for
alright.
us?
The lizard space Mongols.
Orcs, but scaly. Which really they kind of are, but you know.
Yeah. Like,
Oh.
you know. Yeah, spores. Spurs.
Accept religions and all that shit. Just accept.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag.
True.
A Viscarium bag.
Accept your true, hateful, 7 feet tall, superior.
Yep, your lizard overlords. Yep,
Yes,
lizard
yes.
overlords. Yep. Okay, that's good. I think. Let's go for
Yes.
any ideas specifically for a goal, or are we just gonna move straight on? Because I don't really want to spend too much time on that aspect of the game, quite frankly.
Oh, Demogesh.
That has been like, hasn't that been in the side for ages?
It has.
Has. I've got my chance. But I've really no actually, because I'm actually quite injured and I'm not going to start a fight with fucking Demogesh.
Actually, I'm not
As much
actually
as I
seeing it.
actually kind of want to, and just see how it goes. I might
I
try.
can see Kill Himani and Godslayer, but I don't actually see Kill Demogesh. I just have gather actionable info on him.
We need to
That
fucking
was-
get
yeah,
that
that's
sorted.
all I know.
Get kill Demogesh.
Why not? Like, why not? Because I
I
feel
mean, at the end of the day, right?
I feel like Matva basically told you to do that without saying it.
Pretty much told me to do that, and I mean, like, I kind of agree. Like, motherfuckers like teaming up with like deed overlords. That
Yeah, the fucking
try to,
space necromancers. Yeah.
and taking no like a place that he's unwillingly got quite fond of.
Yeah, Pact World kind of grows on you after a while.
All
Okay.
these mad goons in your fucking ship,
Mad good.
making things interesting.
Well, let's see what he has to say before we decide that we're definitely going to.
I'm gonna kill him. Yeah, of course we're gonna.
I did like
mean-
though that when like Zora came back from the meeting with Matva and then finally caught up with Lyko was like, I like sniper rifles. After it was a maybe I need to kill Demogesh conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I enjoyed
yeah,
that because it was very much a case of Lyko going, I am okay with that plan if that happens to be the judgment call you make.
Yeah.
Like, not saying I need to kill him, I'm just saying I wouldn't mind a shot. Yeah, that was definitely the vibe I got. Okay, I think that's enough for goals then. Like, we do have that entire pile of goals at the side, but if we're happy with leaving it blank for now, I am too. We shall.
Oh my god, I'm the Jason Todd of the group.
Like, I feel like we've said that before.
Probably.
Like,
It's not even on purpose either.
like subconsciously maybe, but you just need yourself like the leather jacket over the armor suit. That's what you need now. You
That
know,
would be such a good look actually for it. I
Like,
should have done that.
see, just next time you go shopping, just pick up a wee leather jacket. You know,
Good.
sorted.
Although the moment he does look properly
In fact-
goth, so that's cool.
Because like Jason Todd's is pretty almost sci-fi enough to be like a spacesuit, right?
I doubt it will happen. This blah, 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 session.
Mhm.
We'll shove that in there, right? And I'll fix the font.
Talk me through it. What does it say?
Ensure Weird removes Vesk safeguard protocols on final hour actually, because like, but I mean he's not going to happen this session, but it may as well be there, right? For something.
I'm just thinking that's sci-fi looking enough, right? If Lyco was going to be updating us,
Oh, I don't like that design. I know what they're going for with
But then-
it because
but
they're
the
trying
look-
to get the expressiveness into the mask.
and you just chuck a wee jacket over it.
Oh,
We.
that's too late. Is it this
I mean,
one?
if we want to just
That's
go
too
through
late.
some of our favorite, superhero designs, I'm here for that. But
I was just waiting until he was updating the goals. There we go. Maybe that last one's maybe a better
what's
one for you.
cool?
There you go,
Yeah,
Lyco.
yeah,
That's pretty Lyco.
Yeah. I don't think Lyco would hide his face though, really.
Spacesuit, man. Hide it from the elements.
Yeah, it's true.
Keep in mind it's a sci-fi future. It can be transparent at the touch of a button.
It could be hard light.
Yeah, sure. Why not? They don't ever really explain where your helmet goes anyway, so
Exactly. Exactly.
it's questionable in a lot of sci-fi shows. Mostly Discovery. In fact, it's quite bad for it.
The narrative happens to it.
It narratively gets excused. Right, okay. Let me have a look at this goal. Where is it?
How would they like wrap this?
Oh
thing?
my god, why is it not wrapped? Like,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I asked.
Yo!
Right, so let's just fix this by, I'm just gonna copy
I
that,
don't know any.
and then
Didn't.
I'm then gonna
And
pop
actually-
that over there. Let's undo that, and then I'm just gonna copy this over it. And then copy that. And then look at that. When you're pasting things, Control Shift paste keeps the cell formatting.
Right, okay. Right, so good to know.
So
to
ensure
know.
Weird removes Vesk safeguard protocols on the filer. Yeah, sure, why not?
I'm pretty sure there's some shit in there.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure
Probably.
there's some shit.
Okay, well let's go back in the game that we play, and let's focus on the fact that the last shot of the last session was like a hand from the foamy red container in the airlock.
Yep.
Like slamming against the glass container. And we have that lingering shot again, where it's still in the dark in the airlock, and then it's like another thump on the side of the container as it like rocks slightly. Then we cut all the way back to Zora. Because yeah, let's not have the entire game be about waiting for Nico to actually speak to Tomogesh. And yeah, we open up on the bridge of the final hour that you just walked into, right? And I mean, yeah, the commander of the Vesk fleet and the just essentially Veskarium forces, as I said, like essentially one step down really from like, Emperor Vesk.
Position would be mine.
Wabam!
Once I would be the Emperor.
There's his
Shitty saber, man. They don't even have a fucking whatever it's called.
Doshko.
Doshko. That's what it's called.
I don't even know the name of it. You're having to go at him
I'm
for
trying
not
to
having
fucking
one.
know it. Right, I got it right. I got it at the same time as you said.
How do you know that? How do you know that the little axe on his side doesn't just deploy into a full-on Doshko?
Ah, he's a pussy. That's how-
He looks pretty green to me though. Looks pretty green to me, blue boy.
It's one of the normal males.
The phrases, a normal male. Yep. So yeah, he's standing there. Remember I told you, like, flicks his cape over his shoulder.
Yes. Yeah, it's like a pompous git. Yes.
Mhm. And I think he referred to you as the Abyss.
Gravy puck annihilator. What brings you to my ship?
Quite that, I would say. Quite that. And then, like, he's got like his hands like folded behind his back, and he's like, turning around, looking around at the bridge. A little Spartan on the crew front, wouldn't you say?
We've been investigating area. There's a ship that seemed to need some help. Decided to check it out.
So you've ascribed to the humanitarian missions of the Pact Worlds, have you? Is this how you're spending your retirement, is it?
Well, plenty of killing throughout my life. Nothing wrong with saving a couple of lives every now and then. Although, I guess, right now you wouldn't really know about that.
How so? When he kind of like, just kind of smiles the way Jeremy Irons would smile at you in that situation.
Well, I mean, word in the grapevine is you're working with some rather distasteful people at the moment.
Is that so? And who would these distasteful people be?
The Yorksians, of course. You do realise how many Buzz Vest died trying to take on those Yorksians, right?
Okay, like he's clearly like measuring you up, right? Like he's just like taking you in, with his eyes. And he says, "Your time away from the Viscarium has clearly made you bold. And your diplomacy would suit you so well." There's like zero tone to that, right? Like it's, yeah. You could read into it, right? You could totally read into it and assume he's saying, "I am in charge and you are nobody."
But then I'll just go and sit down on Alice's seat, nonchalantly, and my feet up, like, just to, set my dominance even more.
Yeah. And that's like obviously like slightly lower down in front of his like platform where he's standing, because he's standing like where the captain would stand, on that kind of like circular platform thing that's raised up and behind the three main consoles. And
I would just like extend my hand to the other seat at the other side. Just be like, well, I'm assuming you came here to speak. Let's not be uncivilized and stand about like big brooding men.
if your legs require rest in your retirement, that is fine if you wish to sit in my presence. I, however, require no respite.
Suit yourself.
Some of us have remained active, you see.
Believe what you wish. Why would the great grave epoch annihilator come to my ship anyway if I'm such a small thing? After all, I'm in retirement.
Precisely why I am here. You seem to be running an active ship.
Yes.
Curious for someone retired.
Well, I mean, some people operate outward your jurisdiction. Quite frankly, your line of sight.
He like smiles the biggest shitting grin a Vesk can manage, which is probably quite mighty. And it's just you can probably hear the teeth move in his mouth, as they probably grate against each other. And he says, "You are retired, and you are using an active Viscarium vessel. These two things do not coincide normally.
Retired. Yes.
So you admit that you are in fact in active service of the Viscarium.
Who's to say I never have stopped? So bullshit.
Yeah, right. And he says, am I to assume then that you are still working for Matva of the Obsidian Star?
Yeah, that would be classified.
Oh.
Not to me.
Uh, so you're in control of the Obsidian Star now?
I am in control of the Viscarium presence within the Pact Worlds.
But not the Obsidian Star.
They would be Vesk. Or do you deny this?
I'm pretty sure that the Obsidian Star only answers to the Emperor.
That would be true.
Right?
So, mini timeout. Technically, he is right in saying that he is in charge of everything in the Pact Worlds, right? From the Viscarium, from the Emperor gave him the Pact Worlds to deal with. So that would include anything to do with the Obsidian Star. However, that is a technicality because in the actual Viscarium space, they are they're on the same level. The Obsidian Star are the same level as him. He is decorated higher because they don't exist officially.
Okay.
But he is if it was like a family timeline, you've got Emperor, and then the two lines that come down are the same level. Obsidian Star that's been redacted, and then Dmogish.
So I do have a wee bit of footing to stand on here.
The only thing is, if it was in the Viscarium, he would never argue this point.
You'd have to back down entirely. Right,
he would never have argued that point because he knows he would be wrong, because the Emperor would just shoot him down, right? Regardless of how, because obviously Dmogish is in pretty good standing with the Emperor, hence why he's in the position he's in. But this is the Pact World, so things are a bit grayer, you know? No, grey's pun intended. But you get what I mean. There's a lot of... It's very unclear, which does, maybe this is the first time it really sinks into Zora, wait a minute, maybe that is right. Right? Maybe, Matva is kind of, out of line. Right? Given what she's... technically, as we discussed off recording as well, or maybe it was on recording, I forget now, but because aren't she straight up kind of asked you to be if you died...
She's running a coup. She's starting a coup. She wants to start a coup, basically. Like a silent coup.
Well, she wants to stop a civil war.
Yeah.
By getting rid of him. Yes. Because she feels he's going to start a civil war to get control, and then start an actual war with the Pact Worlds. Even though they're still fighting the Swarm in the Vesk space. Yeah. So, that's what you know, and maybe that's the moment it dawns on you that, maybe Matva doesn't quite have the carte blanche she wants to believe for operations in this space. But he is 100% convinced with everything he's said and his presence and posture and all that. He's clearly I am in charge here, you know. Right. Back in the scene.
Well, I mean, how would a retired man get a Obsidian Star vessel if I wasn't under guise of Obsidian Star?
Then I assume your mission is specifically against me.
I wouldn't say that, quite frankly.
Then your mission would not be compromised by informing me.
Quite frankly, we heard about some sort of weapon delivery that was possibly going to be used against the Vesk in this vicinity.
His eyes narrow like they're beads now, right? If Lizard's cheeks changed based on, arousal with certain words, potentially powerful weapon, definitely would flare up those cheek colours.
Quite frankly, though, another Obsidian Star vessel actually got here before us and secured the weapon.
I see. Which vessel?
I'm not sure. heard it from a dying man.
He waves his hand, like, vaguely to the side. Haven't we jumped through these hoops? Zora. Haven't we?
I'm actually telling you the absolute truth. I'm telling them the half-truth, right?
Yeah, but obviously he's like, why are we still doing the dance, right? Like, obviously from his point of view, he is not necessarily 100% believing you. I see.
I've been told my crew is just salvaging the ship to see if we can get any more information as possible. That's the use of not having a full vest crew, you know?
You find-
I feel so dirty right now, man.
Like,
I feel so-
you find the Vesk deficient in areas that these Pact Worlders make up for?
Quite frankly, Pact Worlders, I'm more comfortable with Pact Worlders.
He
sure
smiles
you
again,
understand.
like it's like a brief, polite smile, right? And then he kind of like turns and just starts like eyeing up like consoles that are like surrounding the captain's stance. Which I feel like that's what it'd be called, that part of the bridge, the captain's stance. And also, hello Scott in chat. I come bringing the gift of sexy and dance. Good. That is what obviously we were missing, was sexy and dance. Thank you. Have a love heart. There we go, buddy. Welcome to the 2 years of Starfinder. 2 years, buddy. So yes, anyway, Demogesh starts like eyeing up the like the consoles around the captain's stance, and then says, "These Pact Worlders are teetering on the brink of something quite significant, and you ally yourself with them."
Quite frankly, there's nothing to be gained by fighting a war on two fronts. And these Pact Worlders have no way of affecting us in the Viscarium.
If it wasn't for these Pact Worlders, we would not be able to maneuver to the Pact World. Remember, it was us that took the drift drive from them.
And quite frankly, they paid for the mistake.
And he kind of looks at you, like, you know, side-eyeing you as he's like staring at like random data readouts from the consoles. And then he says, I do not think payment was ever in question. We took what we can take, and thus it became ours. And he kind of looks at you as if, like, that's the Vesk way. You know? And he kind of stands up straight again with his hands like behind his back, and he says, "You were treated harshly, despite your commendations." And then that like hangs in the air for like a couple of seconds until like you.
Oh, you mean this put me on a desk job when I done nothing but sweat and bleed for the Viscarium? Just a little bit.
The decision was not mine. In fact, I was overruled. I wished to keep you in the Viscarium.
Mm-hmm.
And you can roll sense motive on him if you want. See how much bullshit is coming off the guy.
Well, my sense motive was very good, but I'll try anyway, right? I mean,
I actually used sense motive on Friday, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I mean insight." Yeah, like 0 bullshit detected so far.
0 bullshit detected so far. That's actually not a roll for me as well.
Yeah.
So,
But like, yeah, 0 bullshit.
Ooh, so it must have come from the top, presumably.
Mm.
And quite frankly, I did find it a little bit. I'm going to have
So, like, does Zora's like body language shift
to keep
at all?
on with my ruse. Apparently, I never actually left the Viscarium, right? I got my ruse. Right.
No, but like
wasn't-
that's like there's obviously a lot.
Sorry, speaking. That was
there's-
just
I know, but there's like a lot of ups and downs regarding like Zora, because obviously you did retire, right? But even if you didn't, according to the Obsidian Star, that doesn't really make a difference. He gets what you mean. There's no like awkward backtracking on that, if that makes sense. That all makes sense to me. It's like, yes, I never left. Publicly I left, but I never actually left. That checks out. Don't worry about that nonsense.
right.
But is there any physical reactions that he would be able to pick up on from Zora when like realizing he isn't bullshitting? Because you probably did blame him.
I would probably snigger a wee bit, and I would just this to my advantage, I suppose. Well, quite frankly, some of the higher ups decided it would be best if I stuck about here and learned more about these people, technologies.
Yes, one higher up specifically, in fact. The Event Horizon.
Oh, you're saying it was Matva?
Yes, just appointed to the position in charge of the Obsidian Star. And her first act was to get shot of you.
Quite frankly, I can't understand why that would be the case. Matva was always our leader. It makes sense that she would get promoted before me in the booking test.
You were not in line for any promotion. You were commendated for your heroic actions. And you can. There was definitely a pause when they said heroic. Because they were noted as heroic. But like,
Stand a wee bit.
the thing is though, obviously, the idea of saving non-Vesk is a bit of a weird thing. That was obviously their first foray into diplomacy, remember? With the Pact Worlds, you saving diplomats. So,
Yes.
like, he probably wouldn't have minded the excuse to have went to war, quite frankly, but it did help in the long run. He won't deny that. All that can be read into. But no, he's basically saying Matva just got the job, and her first task was to get rid of you. I think, like, for you, you wouldn't have been high enough up in the Obsidian Star to have got the position, right? And it was probably during, like, remember we talked about the event where you were, like, you encountered the Bone Sage, and it, like, trashed, like, quite a big contingent of the Obsidian Star. Like, yeah. Like, it was probably in that instant that you lost, like, the actual commander of the Obsidian Star. And then she was promoted up. So, there's a bit more on the Vesk histories. So basically he's saying that Matva's the one that booted you out.
I mean, fuck her, if that's the case. But at the same time, fuck this guy anyway.
Yeah, but I think what I think the gist you can get from the scenario is like you're saying you seem to hate me and it isn't. None of it's deserved. So anyway, back in the scene, he says, "Yes, your former, or apparently current, commanding officer, the Event Horizon, is the one that was very specific in your removal from the Obsidian Star due to issues with loyalty, I think it is filed under. And if you wish, you may..." And he gestures to one of the consoles near him. "You can pull this up from the Veskarium records if need be. I will allow this access to be done. The recommendation I made was to keep you and give you command of your own troops and have your own ship. And I was overruled by the Emperor."
See that. Well,
And
what's done is done.
like before you go into that as well, you would know that if like the standard military of the Veskarium got access to like a specialist from the Obsidian Star, that's a big get, right? Because usually it's the other way around. The military, you'll get somebody that's really good in the military, and then they'll go to the Obsidian Star. So the opposite is like the idea that you'd go to the Citizen Star, get all their badass training, and then come back would be amazing. So he would treat you like royalty, right? Because you would be great to have. You'd know enough about that because there's probably at least one, if not a handful of these Vesk that have done that, where they couldn't get promoted up any further, so they'd leave, right? Or there's been some back alley shadiness and they've left anyway, right? So, yeah. So there's maybe like one or two, as I said, in the actual military that were ex-Obsidian Star.
I would kind of just like, okay, I would kind of just like stretch, like just kind of well, what's done is done anyway. Quite frankly, I don't really mind this position that I've got these days. Like, what about you? Like, why would brings you to team up with the Oxians and oh God, goodness knows what you're doing.
We are safeguarding the Pact Worlds, our allies, of course, against this Illibrian threat. I am sure you are well aware of this.
No ideas of Pact World conquest?
He just smiles and says nothing except looks incredibly proud as a Vesk. Like he's posing for a portrait.
Fucking idiot. Pompous. I just want to show him right now, man. Like, I really do. Right, but I know it would turn into battle and I'm fucked. If it was actually healthier, I'd maybe even take a chance to see what happens.
Man. Use the spoon. Imagine just.
I've got my grapple horn.
Imagine just like literally just like spooned into like the jugular. We're bam, done. Got it.
Yeah,
Promotions.
I used to pull people. I've got the fucking grapple horn.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, fucking
CC.
CC.
Mm-hmm. See, CC's adorable and useful. And a liability. Yeah. So he stands looking proud. And then like, does Zara react to that, or is there like some dead space?
I would just actually kind of grunt at it almost. You know, like a.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would actually make it visible as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would find it distasteful.
All in good time, of course. We are in no rush. There are more important foes for the moment. The withdrawal of our forces from the Viscarium would compromise our position with the swarm. And it kind of just gives you like this is like basic knowledge look, right? Because he doesn't really need to explain that to you. But he's saying it in a way that is reminding you that you're not in the Viscarium anymore, right? So he's doing that. Here's basics that every Vesk would know. I'm going to tell you it because you left. And
Can I roll sense motive in that again? I know I'm probably not going to get it.
for what end? Sorry, like what is it?
Like, I mean, obviously we know about the spawn, but does he actually give a shit about that? Like, sort of idea? Is he just saying that because it's common knowledge and he's obviously going to say that? Because...
Oh yeah, like all that, they don't even need to roll. Like all that's like standard, right? The idea that like no Vesk would technically want to risk the safety of the Viscarium, right? Like they just win because of their ferocity and like numbers and like technical might and kind of lack of morals as well to a degree. Because they win because of their like birthrights, right? We are the Vesk. You are not.
I'm just wondering if like he's bullshitting at the fact that he is actually there to protect.
You can roll on that if you want, yeah. Like, do you want to roll sense motive on that part? Yeah, go for it.
Or like if he's just reenacting the usual speech of.
Yeah, is this the politician? Yeah.
Like,
yeah, go
I mean,
for
I'm not going to get it, but I may as well try.
No, it's worth rolling. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, again, on the level, right? Definitely seems like.
I wish I had better sense moves.
But yeah, like he definitely seems like he wants to. He definitely wants to like. Clearly, his concerns is the Illibrian, right? That's genuine. Also, like he doesn't seem to like he knows the Veskarium will claim the Pack Worlds. That is the ultimate goal, right? You know that at your core. So, the idea that he waits a bit longer, not a big deal to him, right? That all seems genuine. He definitely thinks that this Celebrian is a massive threat. And he says, to answer your insolent but yet relevant question, the bone sages of Yox were once Illibrians themselves. Who
Would not.
who better as allies?
What was it with Tectalans? Who was it who's going to betray who? Is that a thing?
So
There was a
depends.
thing about that,
There's a
wasn't
lot about Dectalanus, so you asked me a specific question, yeah.
Like Tectalans was going to like just basically wipe out Demigesh after everything was undone with, right? Is that right? I can't remember. Or
So
was it the other way about?
Ramasethu, right?
I remember Ramis.
She indicated, right, that obviously their alliance was very tentative at best, and it's clearly going to be some kind of war, right? Because Tectalanus is clearly not going to care about the Vesk. And Tectalanus will definitely overcommit and go into a war to get rid of Vesk. Because the Pack Worlds is the Eoxians. It's not these Vesk invaders. Which is why she wanted you to bring back Sindael. Because Sindael could rally the Bone Sages against Tectalanus. But at the moment Tectalanus is the popular kid. Because Sindael's gone. Weirdly,
Really,
Ramasethu basically Ramasethu kind of implies that Sindael is the voice of reason amongst the Bone Sages, which is terrifying.
So really, if this douchebag Demigesh is actually speaking honestly right now,
Which he seems to be.
we know that Vest really did plan and got bad the Pack Worlds and attacking eventually, right?
Yeah, I'm not even as from a GM level, 100% if this game timeline went far enough forward, the Veskarium versus the Pack Worlds is 100% a storyline. Yes.
But obviously after Swarm, right? So if
Yes.
that's Ernest, I've got to ask Demigesh a question, I guess. So, just as a matter of curiosity, if you were to perchance die, who would take over your position?
He kind of just smiles. And he says, do you mean who would be sent to the Pact Worlds in my place, or who would be the right hand of the Emperor?
Both.
I believe in the interim, the Event Horizon would take charge of matters in the Pact Worlds temporarily until a new right hand was appointed.
That's what I thought.
Yep, Matva's looking kind of sus.
Kind of what I thought.
Mm.
I'd kind of snigger at that.
And he kind of laughs, or or he's kind of guffawing in a way, Bill Nye-esque to the side. He's like, "Are you planning on my demise?"
Not at all.
Do you want to roll bluff?
That's all the truth.
Okay, so you don't want him dead?
I mean, I was just a bit. What I say, I'm just trying to put some pieces together, and that was literally what I was trying to do.
I want to just copy paste something just from the goals tab, ever so slightly,
This conversation,
and I'll just jump it there.
Slightly, it can be thinking, right?
Yeah, his priorities may have shifted somewhat through the course of this
Yeah.
conversation.
That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
is this
what's happened? Because Matva's pretty fucking sus.
Which, right? She's in charge of a secret off the books intel super soldier squad. Who'd have thought? Yeah.
Basically the sneaky bastards that would do some sabotage and tomfoolery of the Vesk. It would be her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like he's too much of a military man to admit to the fact that he just wants to take out everything.
I mean, well, he
Well-
did admit that he will, right? Like he's asked, like he did say that, like you know.
Yeah, well, but that is Vest Hubris, and he's got
Hmm.
to take down the swarm as well. Like,
Like,
that's bad.
You could probably read into the fact that he's probably annoyed he isn't allowed to just wipe the swarm out himself, because he'd probably enjoy being on the front lines of that, right? So the idea that he's here is probably eating him, right? Because he's here and he's not allowed to be at war with everybody, right? You could read it like you know enough about the military for that, right? Sorry, military. You know enough about Vesk culture for that.
So I guess right, I would go.
Mm.
Do realise the very thin line you're playing by aligning with the oxygens of all people in the pact world right now, right? When they were probably the most zealot fighters in the war.
The interests of the Bone Sages has shifted given their recent exodus from Eox. They in fact fled under the protective banner of the Pact World denizens before Absalom was attacked. It would seem foolish of them to then betray those they rely on.
I don't know if I wanted to even mention about the amount of Bone Sages that would died. I don't know if we would know it.
Yeah, it's up to you though. Like you could bring it up, right? Because I'm pretty sure Lyko told you. So
Okay. You do realise what happens when many generals fall in a regime, right?
are we talking about my imminent demise again? And he just
No,
smiles at
no.
that.
No, I'm talking about the power flood that happens afterwards.
Quite.
Earth flood?
The power
vacuum is what it means.
The vacuum, that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. Yeah, power vacuum.
Yeah, like the
Flood,
dam
yeah.
breaks. The dam that was the general before, you know, and then all the wannabe generals. Yeah, yeah. So now, like, I got what you meant, Nico.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck that guy. And then,
Wow.
so yeah,
Wow.
kind of
Shameful display.
he kind of like looks at you.
Did you understand the current state of the oxygens at the moment, right?
I am fully aware that they have never been so vulnerable as they are now. And he just looks at you, and you know that look, which is the I have strategized already.
But you know how strong even one of those sages are.
Moreover, I am daily informed how strong this Elibrian seems to be, and it has the Bone Sages. I would even go as far to say scared.
Quite rightfully so.
It represents everything they cannot get back to. This is a great psychological weapon in the war against the Bone Sages.
And you're positive that your forces can take it down, because I've personally witnessed it. It's
Yes, I've read the action report from your encounters with the Bone Sages, not only yours, but all of the Obsidian Stars. Convenient,
well,
I would say, a lot of them seem, given the promotions from those action reports led to Matva taking charge.
was it the bones? Was it the Libran that killed all the bone sages? Or was it? It's alluded
You just
to,
don't know.
or-
Like it's been like it's hinted at. Yeah.
right. Cool. So,
And remember the Librian does have a name, Urgalas.
this Urgalas, as it's called, managed to wipe out. Was it 100 odd bone sages? Right.
Like, give or take, there was like 140 or odd of them to 150,
10
and there was like
now.
8 that made it to Absalom Station, and obviously we know that there's like 7 left, right? Because Sindel.
So,
Thing is though,
Yeah.
some of those might be on the corpse fleet though, right?
I'm
So,
gonna,
yeah.
I'm going to exaggerate this a bit. I'm not going to tell
That's
there's
fine,
only
yeah.
7 fucking left because that's stupid. That
Mm.
would make his hubris even higher. This Librian managed to kill over half the bone sages within days, right? 3 days.
Yeah, like you don't really know the time frame, right? You just know that the Librians, like, well, the Oxians, sorry, all up and left
I'll say
Eox.
days.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say days just to fucking make it sound really fucking scary, right? Just to, I don't want to give them the whole fucking picture. 70 bone sages were destroyed, but in a matter of days, like, this one world, never mind the rest of the packed worlds, managed to hold off our entire forces, and quite frankly, can't deny that it was a great battle.
And kind of just like smiles. All battles are great. There is much to appreciate and to learn from conflict. And that is like fucking almost biblical quoting, right? That is his top tier bullshit lines. You know, fucking Vesk students have to recite that shit. And he says, I think for once your Obsidian Star intel is in fact quite incorrect. I think you'll find there are less than 10 Bone Sages left.
Fuck. This thing's been a bit.
Meanwhile, what's
Yeah, I'm back.
That's okay, I'm just gonna meanwhile, what are you guys up to?
This would be a good time to calm the captain.
I love the just the fact that it just says, fuck, there was such a good ending to like that dialogue, right? Because it's like, fuck, he does know.
Yeah.
And then we harsh cut to you guys. What are you up to? Hopefully not cramming Zig into like any kind of blender or microwave, ideally.
I mean, I wasn't kidding about calming the captain. I probably would be doing that to try and get his consent for scans at a later point.
Yeah, like what about Weird? Anything Weird wants to get up to? Assuming we have a Weird. He may be doing the dance of mutes. Maybe.
Ooh, baby.
Alex! He might be gone.
Well, we just have to shout, Alex! That wasn't even that loud.
Oh, it's okay though. Like, I mean, it really depends who's got turned up the loudest on the audio settings, doesn't it?
Not me. Not me.
Alex! Hello! Hello, Alex! Can you hear us?
Hello, Alex.
Me.
That's okay.
I'm
I'm gonna assume he's fell asleep. That seems like the most accurate.
Yes, in fact, asleep, please.
Call it.
Sleep type.
He might wake up later. We'll never know. But we'll see what happens.
Oh, we're seeing some indications of life, but no audio.
It's perma-green. That means he needs to disconnect and reconnect.
We are seeing some Discord issues.
The best thing is if he was trying to talk to us the whole time. Well, we'll see what happens with Alex. But yeah, if you want to call the captain, why not? That was a break in their conversation anyway, so right.
Yeah, I genuinely was intending to do that sort of towards the end of last session, but obviously reasons. Okay, I will do that.
Your comm goes, I guess, then, Captain.
Ah, shit.
You don't have to take it.
Yeah.
I'm completely fine with you. Like,
No, right, what I'll
Hang
do
on.
is I'll actually just press the button, like, casually, like, not, like, just kind of like a bit, I would press the button, I'll just open my comm, I'll not say anything. But I'm speaking to Immigrash.
okay. Well, if you just open it and like I'll probably hear it
Like,
connect. I mean,
As like you have this awkward look, Demogesh just like hand waves you off, like you have permission, but he doesn't say that. He just waves you off, right? And he kind of like,
does he hear it though? I was hoping
Well,
to just do it
I'm-
discreetly.
I mean, you're still in the room, so yeah, he probably will hear it, right?
Oh, that's unfortunate. I was hoping
But he's turned
Yeah.
his back politely, and like he's standing.
I wanted like a fucking Metal Gear like
Mm.
moment, alright.
The codec.
I could hear I wanted like the fucking me hearing what I'm right, alright.
My name is Nastasha Romanenko.
Michael.
Captain. I have some strange results to report.
About
Ooh.
the weapon,
No, not
the shit.
Pardon the weapon. It's more we scanned a number of individuals in the ship crews, and we found some unusual results. Interestingly, there were some abnormalities in the brain scans of myself and of Weird, which were consistent with some abnormalities found on one of the deceased members of the crew of the Kivalari. It's particularly concerning as it's the individual who appears to have shot themselves. So we also found an absence of any such readings in Zig, for instance. So my current suspicion, and I'd like to scan you when possible to try and confirm this, is that this abnormality is a result of contact with the with the Greys, sir. Not sir, Captain. It's
harmful.
well, it certainly was for this individual. We seemed unaffected, but I do recall there seemed to be some sort of attempt by them to interfere with us or influence us in some way, which appeared to be unsuccessful. Nonetheless, it's definitely
Give an egg.
Hmm.
Nothing, obviously.
yeah. It's definitely something that we should be concerned about, and I'd like to look into it as soon as possible. Might give us an idea of what the hell they were doing here.
Well, I make it like a plan. Can't. I don't know if I see if I really don't.
I love that you're like, what do I want to say in this room?
I mean, think of it out of character.
Mhm.
What kind of impression are you wanting to give to Lyko? Oh, sorry.
It being shit, but don't want to make it out like I'm in shit. We should add a code word. We should always.
Yeah,
we
we
made
should
up a
have done
code
that.
word.
I'll tell you what, right? Like,
Um,
if you want, like, what is it you basically want to convey? That you are in the middle of a situation and that he should give you breathing room, or that you need help? What? Like,
Fucking, I've got an idea, right?
because what I was saying is like, Lycal can use sense motive in the conversation, right? So long as it's enough obvious triggers that would let him go. I know those pauses and words. That's not the captain's normal weirdness, right?
I've got an idea, right? I've got an idea, and it's one thing that I hope that people might actually think of, right? So, I mean, I'll once you get back, please can scan me. But currently, I've got some goblins in this stupid system that Alice has made. So, but gotta go.
Do you want to roll sense motive in that, Lyco? Like,
let me roll sense motive.
yep.
And goblins, 24.
So, I think so. ideally 25 is what you're looking for, right? For the base level difficulties are at now level wise, but you definitely know there's something not right. However, there wouldn't be enough to say he's in danger of goblins, right? Like that doesn't really make sense. The idea that there is something screwy with maybe something Alice did to the ship makes a lot of sense, or perhaps ripping parts out of the ship has led to problems, or maybe Finn is the problem because Alice was used, right? Like I think you could go off on like a slightly wrong tangent, but you definitely can get that there's a problem the captain's trying to deal with discreetly.
Yeah, so I would get that he was being discreet, though, at the very
Yes,
least.
indeed. Yeah, he's weird enough that that is a weird thing for the captain to say. 100%. Yeah.
That's odd. Could I
And-
still be in the room with at this point? I'd probably still be in the med bay.
I think like Zig's there, Shakos is there, and I think was Escape retrieved, Isabel? Yeah, why not? I think you went to get her.
I'd say to sort of looking between the three of them, like, Captain is indisposed somehow. He suggested there were some problems with the system that, some changes Alice had made, but the way he said it, I don't know. There was something he wasn't saying.
You gotta tell Alice this.
Hey, opening comms. Hey, Alice,
Lyco.
did you make any changes to the final hour?
When? You hear her eyes narrow.
I don't really have a time frame.
Then yes.
What kind of changes? Anything that might cause the captain any issues?
Probably. But I think even if I didn't make the changes, he'd still have the same issues.
Yeah, he's
Wow. Wow.
he's not a flyer.
Finish that.
But I don't think he's flying.
I'll have you know I've got the sky jockey feet.
You're not in this call, buddy.
Yeah.
Imagine awkwardly you were just staring at your comm, pressing all the buttons, trying to shut it off, and it's just firing grapple cables out instead of cutting the call off.
Okay. Sneezing like crazy, my ears are itching.
Right. So, sorry.
Okay, so Alice is like nodding.
Yawns. Yeah. So sorry, I'm yawning again. I think from that he would probably say, he still seemed evasive, right? So I'm still thinking.
Wait, there's still enough to make you think, suspicion. Yeah, definitely. Definitely not like rush to his aid instantaneously suspicion, right? Definitely not. Just, that's weird and I'll probably want to check in 10 minutes or something, right? Definitely like not willing to give him as much scope as I normally would.
I think I'll loop in weird here.
A fine choice. We will find out.
And say to him, just spoken with the captain, and yeah, it cut me off, citing some technical problems, some changes Alice had made, but the phrasing he used, well, he said something about goblins in the system, which, yeah, doesn't like that word, so seemed kind of off.
Oh, very basically though.
We got a tiny bit.
Oh, hello.
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 Thank you. Sorry.
Hello.
Captain.
Oh, we're only getting some of that.
Yeah, we're only getting a wee bit.
I heard the word captain. Come back to his weird.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We got the hello.
Let's see how much.
Oh, let's see how much. That's what we got.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, we got that.
We got, oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay, so I just need to be slightly louder.
You just need to be profane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I
You need to start strong and continue strong. Short sentences.
yes. So, Lyco.
Hmm.
What changes?
He wasn't specific.
Was Alice?
Similarly vague. But she felt that the difficulties would only be problems for Cap because he is he generally doesn't do the flying duties.
Something about technology is what I'm going to assume that was.
Technological challenge.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say. It's just the way he
Not
cut
to
me off
meta.
and
Not
the
to
way
meta.
Yeah.
Why would the captain ever even attempt to fly?
I know, right?
the way
That should be in your minds. I know that's a wee bit meta, but I feel that should be common knowledge.
personal offense to this. Damn it, Nico. It's fine.
He's trying to like throw as much suspicion on your way as possible.
The way he used that phrase "goblins" in the works, it just. I mean, I'll contact him again soon, but just to make you aware, I think something's up.
Been drinking.
Well, it is the 2-year anniversary of the game, so
It's just like, just sitting back.
you and Demogesh, that's why he's here. He's here to celebrate the anniversary with you. Big cigars and brandy.
What's the technical situation like? How are we? How are we doing?
I've got some basic weapons online. Port is holding up.
Cool.
Shield. Semi.
I think Alice was working on the shields actually.
Yes.
I have this written down that I think she got a success with the plus steps. I think the shields are pretty good. Yep.
Shields are good. Copy.
Okay. We're
Also, more importantly, Isabel did state last session, the drive will definitely get you in drift space, and she can definitely get you out of drift space, and that was all she committed to. She never said time frames.
Where?
Yes.
okay. Well, we're in.
But you don't need to use the drift drive to get the Kevalaria anywhere, it's just quicker, right?
It's not
We're
the
in
worst
pretty
ship
good.
I've flown.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's.
Don't go getting it. Fine.
Yeah. Well, we might not have a choice about that, but at the moment we're looking pretty good.
But no goblins.
I assume there are no literal goblins, but
Or fiends.
yeah.
A goblin. Just
I wanna keep on digging here while I can and see if I can piece more together, but I'm not sure how much more we can do here, so I guess we should start looking at how we divide up the ship to the crew to prioritize repairs.
Major repairs have been done.
Yeah, like the ship can fly, right? Like you've managed to you've made the Kevalaria safe enough to attempt drift jumping, but again, that was very much Isabel going, I've done what I can.
Do we not need to patch together the thingy as well?
The Azure Flare needs a massive diagnostic, basically. Like, you need to go over the whole ship as to say, why did what happened happen?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to say it won't happen again, and the drift drive's fucked in that ship.
Yeah. So Lyco, yeah, we'll say then. Yeah, we're having some issues, I understand, with the Azure Flare. Looks like that might need a going over.
Will we head across?
I'm gonna wrap up here soon, and then I'll happily head across if I can be useful. But I think I would rather, unless I'm needed elsewhere, remain on board here.
Very well. If you hear back,
Or was if you hear back from the captain, something?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Yeah, I only got your back. Yep, we can get bits of you again. If I hear back from the captain, I will.
Let me know if he needs repairs.
Yeah,
That is beautiful.
I'll let you know if I hear anything back from him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Okay.
Not,
Okay.
you know, you. It was weird. Not the other kind of weird. Anyway,
Isabel's
that's
just
fine.
staring at you, Lyko,
back
like,
to
what the fuck?
thing.
What are you drinking?
Not lately. Lyco out.
Yeah. Right, so if that's the case then, right, what is the new division of assets then? Right? Like, what's the plan? Because let us move us to our wonderful mission map.
I think.
I know who's gone back to the final level, and it terrifies me.
I'm just going to move this way out of the way, because it's not important. So, let me zoom in on the stuff that is important. Okay, so, based on this map,
I think we want weird on
Also-
the Azure Flare.
and I do think Query went to the Azure Flare. Where is CC? Is CC on the Key Valari? Or is he on the
No.
Azure Flare? He's on the Azure Flare,
He
right?
was- no, he was in the final hour.
CC was, but he
he
moved.
moved.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to the Kivalari.
Yeah, I feel like he went to the Key Valari, because I
He was
think
part of the-
Alice
he was
stayed
part
on
of
the final hour. Alice,
You know what? It's perfectly acceptable for me that Lyco hasn't figured that one out yet.
I was going to say that
He's
seemed,
on-
I think he's on the Azure Flare, because Alice stayed on the final hour to be that kind of pilot mechanic. You then had the Azure Flare, got CC as their kind of mechanic guy, and then you took everybody else, basically.
I remember like the conversation though, like I was like, do you want me to get CC and bring him over? And like, even Isabel was like, ugh,
Mhm.
so, yes. It was like, she was like, as much as she hated it, like, it was gotta be useful for getting the thing prepared. I did genuinely remember taking him.
Yeah,
to
because I think his,
Valari.
yeah, I was going to say, I think he was getting the parts from the Azure Flare that was needed for the Key Valari, and I think obviously Alice was getting stuff from the final hour that was needed. So yeah, I think he is somewhere. Oh god, the fact that he's not been on camera for the entire repairs of the Key Valari is terrifying.
Sorry, people, but I'm pretty sure that is.
No, that's
do
fine.
remember
I think you're
that,
right.
like,
Yeah,
I've-
it's good because it means that he has not been seen or spoke to or calmed in a while, and I love that. It's been about 8 hours or something of him like technically like fucking around the ship.
He's like made the ship 10 times better. Just fix that rocket can.
I mean that sounds like stuff he would do, right?
Like, it genuinely does.
So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think we'll just have him on the Key Valari. But yeah, where are we putting people now? Who do you want where? Like, who is staying on the Key Valari? Like, who's the skeleton crew you're leaving on that?
I
I
think
mean, I guess it's like, was Joe putting it?
I would want Shakos to stick around.
That's going to be an interesting conversation because remember, she is technically the highest ranking steward officer there. Which means it's her ship, technically. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be.
Salvaging it, alright?
Well, that's going to be an interesting conversation for Lyko and Shakos to have. So yeah, I think you two are definitely on board. I think Weird needs to be going back, right, to the Azure Flare. You okay with that, Weird?
Yes.
Cool. Who are you taking with you as your team? Anybody?
I think he has to take Isabel, right? Because she said she can get out adrift.
Do I have?
Well, no. Isabel fixed the drift drive on the Key Valari. She never.
Right.
She wasn't talking about
Okay,
the. Nobody was talking about the Azure Flare.
She also fixed it on.
Yeah, she has drift fixing powers. Sticks a golf.
Carnage. Drift fixing.
And
it's the best. It's definitely the best combo. Isabel and Weird, obviously.
Depends if you
Well,
It depends if you want somebody mechanically minded left on the Key Valari though, right? In case something goes wrong,
That's why I
Because I
want
forgot about CC.
either Alice or CC.
right? So Alice is obviously a good pilot. CC is CC. Isabel is a good pilot and a drift, air quote, engineer that you have dubbed her. I'm not saying she is, I'm just saying that's what you think of her. So she did fix the Keyvalari
That's what I
drift.
think about it.
Yeah, I know that. I know you don't think that of her. Obviously, with the fandom
Much as
will
it
probably with
terrifies
it.
me to say this, and I hate saying this. And this is
I think
what's
Isabel should
terrified.
probably stay in the Keyvalari personally, but
Yeah.
I'm a GM,
Okay.
not the player. So mostly because if the drift goes wrong, she's the one that fixed it. So in theory,
Yeah, no, I understand that, and probably will be more conducive to good teamwork to have her not in the same place as Weird.
also like the whole Lyko, Shakos, and Isabel team work reasonably well together.
Seems to, yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'm gonna assume Zig is probably gonna take his little ship that he docked with, his little junk fighter. Right, which I should probably colour in. So let's make that now. Where are we? Where's the B-hand tool? Right, so let's make that Webam, and then let's give that another colour. So what colour is Zig normally in? This pink, isn't he? There we go. So this is the Zig junk fighter, which was stuck on the other side of the Keyvalari. Text tool, please. Wabam. Zig fighter craft. It's a bit like a MiG, but not MiG at all.
A Zig.
Yep, exactly. It is indeed a Zig.
Sound like Zig.
Mm-hmm. A Zig. A Zig MiG. Wabam. So we've got that. So Zig can take that back, and he can just dock that with a final hour when that's needed, right? Oh. Why did that send him all the way over there? So I'm just going to put this over here because we'll have that dealt with. Because the final hour has 2 like shuttle bays. And only one's used.
And there's a fighter craft that sounds good to the combat ship has some fighter support, right?
I mean, any of them would have probably benefited from that, but yeah, like ultimately.
Sounds good.
Right, so we've got that. There we go. And that will be a pending. I'm assuming that Zig won't have an issue with that. So we can assume he's went with that. Right, so I'll move Zig over there. Dun 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 dun. And obviously that's a pending. So we'll deal with that as and when. Who else we taking? Who's taking CC and Alice? I'm going to assume Alice is going to go to the Azure Flare to help.
Yes.
Are we taking CC as well? Or is Lyko keeping
Sure.
CC?
Well,
CC can come to the final hour so we can shoot double gas. if we need to.
I don't think it's a bad idea to put him with Cap, to be fair. They have a good relationship.
So are you going to put CC crammed in the fighter with Zig to go back to the final hour?
Yes.
Because
He
that,
could be like R2D2.
I don't know if that's going to be that.
That's canon now.
Well, okay, alright, you can tell Callum that. Alright,
Ah,
there we go.
It's fine. Everything's fine. It's actually no fine because I don't actually know if I want CC in the same ship as Dimblegash. I end up like fucking shooting them.
Keep in mind, that's a pending, right? They're not going to appear. Right, that'll take some time for them to get there.
I actually thought Alice was going to be the one coming back to final hour.
Keep in mind though, she still might, right? She's probably going to go back and pilot it initially, right?
That scares me.
Which means I can get rid of this line. I'll just chuck this line away for now, because this will probably dock back with Azure Flare. There we go. I'm also keeping the NPC lists from the player list separate for easier view. If I move CC over here.
Make this Dimblegash guy, please. Don't know what to make him. I wish I'd better sense more.
Well, let's. Anything else to do in terms of like manoeuvring people? Because I think if we manoeuvre everyone, we can deal with the Azure Flares repairs next session. That's probably good. I wouldn't mind doing a tiny bit more in the captain's scene.
Captaincy.
That's worth some more dialogue. So let's deal with that, shall we? Then, right? So we know where people are moving at least. We're gonna have Lyko and Shakos arguing about who's captain. We're gonna have Isabel just making coffee, probably. We're gonna have Weird, Snyder, Query, and Alice on the Azure Flare trying to fix that bucket. And we're gonna have eventually Sig and CC, the two most absolute loose cannon characters that aren't Alice. going back to the final hour. Amazing. I cannot wait for that. Right, Captain.
Right, so
Right, yeah, you've
yeah,
you've,
for
you've goblins bag.
yeah. So I'd be like, I'm pretty sure I was talking about the power of vacuum just before that, right? And then I'd be like, you do realise, in fact, I'm sorry about that. That's my crew just investigating this ship.
He like turns round, like like a half turn on like his heels, kind of like waves it off and goes, "No, I understand. You are a captain after all."
But back to the matter I had, like, I'm a vacuum that comes with that amount of, well, figures disappeared. Is you know what it's like. Quite frankly, the force that you're going against wiped out. Well, as you said, there's actually only 7 left.
He kind of just stares at you.
I would grin.
With their numbers diminished and this Elibrian such a threat to them, do you honestly believe that 7 will be able to take this Elibrian, Urgalas, as you say, considering that over 100 have already fallen?
What I'm saying is the entire might of the Vesk army couldn't kill that many bone sages in this creature.
He laughs, just
that
like to the side, just ha. It was not the entire amount of the Viscarium. It was a mediocre force presented by the Obsidian Star. A force under the recommendations of diminished numbers by 1 event horizon.
And how many did we kill?
I believe your forces failed that particular mission, if I am remembering the action report correctly.
Yes, and those forces were some of the best of our forces.
And I'm sure they serve the Bone Sage as well.
And how many men do you command right now?
He kind of just smirks and goes, "The Pact World has addled your brain, Zora. I command men." Sorry, let me rephrase that because I'm saying it wrong. I command Vesk, not men.
Yes, how many Vesk do you command?
You wish to learn the numbers of the Vesk troops within the Pact Worlds? Perhaps you should come back, join the ranks of the Viscarium. Why do you think I'm here?
Quite frankly, the idea of getting rid of the Librian sounds like a good plan, but...
Doesn't it just? Let's focus on one task at a time. And then he extends his hand, like, kind of widely. And then, like, with one of his hands behind his back, obviously, and he extends one of his hands widely. And he says, "Perhaps you should come to Triaxis. My capital ship is in orbit there. I am a guest of the dragons. You should report back to me swiftly after this distraction of yours, and we shall see about welcoming you back into the Viscarium and utilizing you against this Elibrian threat. I'm sure you would be very, very eager to safeguard your Pact World friends." And then he just blinks out and the hologram flickers away.
Fucking, I hate this guy. And
that's where the session ends.
I fucking hate this guy.
So,
But I don't know whether to trust him, and I think he's just...
well, let's save that for the wrap up, right? Let's be efficient about this, right? Let's jump straight into goals. Any goals done?
Maybe, I don't know if my band... I don't know if...
Okay, so what was his intentions aboard the final hour?
To try and recruit me.
There you go. Bam. Right.
I fleeced them about what he told me.
I'd say you got like you got info, right? You definitely got info. Plus, you did like a lot of like what's this guy's angle here? And he was pretty straightforward, right? It was like, here's exactly my plans. You know this. You're a Vesk. You'd think the same way. You know the Vesk's ultimate goals, blah, 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 right? So, yeah, I think that's done. Pop it over to the completed. Look at that. Wabam.
How do you do this again? Is it the
So, go to that one, yep, and then insert cell, shift down.
cell shift? There we go.
Yep, and then just copy paste over, and it's Control Shift V over, or just Control V over. I think it should be fine. Control C, Control V.
Right,
Yeah. Because I think the shift one would keep it grey, right?
Control.
There we go.
Control.
Okay,
Cool.
and then we can just wipe that one out. Perfect. Okay, anything else? Okay, we never really got a lot of Lyco or Weird time. I understand this. I think we knew it was going to be a Zora heavy one. Weird obviously still got quite a lot going on with his personal goal as well. Zig didn't make any progress sadly on his personal goal.
Zig made exactly his normal amount of progress.
Oh, such shade. So Callum, you are precious, but it's also not untrue. And general goals. Okay, so we've not got to relative safety yet. Right, we definitely need to get the ship somewhere, wherever you decide that place is, and then that goal's done, right? Because the Kevlar can at least move, even if the Azure Flare can't. Lyco could go ahead, right?
Sure.
Because it doesn't matter, like it depends on where you go, right? Right, ensure Weird removes Vesk safeguards from Pro, not yet. Fix Azure Flare, not yet, but I think that'll be next session, right?
Yep.
That sounds good to me. Obviously we can rejig the personnel if like Zig has different opinions or whatever. But I've just made that judgment call assuming he would want his ship docked. Because then if need be he can take the shuttle back. And then the little fighter is at least covered. Determine how complicit or involved Babak is. I mean, that's going to be that's the after game chat. I think that needs to come up in conversation based on what you had thought previously. And obviously renting out the crew, not yet. So I think we're good so far. Any goals changing? Or adding? What's the thoughts, folks? No got any pressing matters that have just been possibly brought to light?
Mine's worth continuing with. Obviously, get the vault, get egg, something a little longer term, as is established cybernetics business. General goals. Again, we're still making good progress in the Security Valari. We really could just wrap that up soon.
Yeah, like next session, you and
Yeah.
obviously your team could go to whatever the rendezvous point is and go there first. You've got weapons and shields and an engine.
Yeah.
Not only that, you've got thrusters as well, so it's not like if you jumped there and
I
drift.
think I kind of need to go and meet Babak to determine if I think he had anything to do with this. Although I'm increasingly leaning towards this is some Vesk bullshit.
Okay, interesting. I like it. It's good.
But Lyco obviously has questions.
Really, I love to go back and I wanted to.
Let's wrap up chat. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
Let's wrap up chat. Right. Yeah. Any other changes then, goal-wise, boys?
Not for me, anyway.
Weird. Any thoughts? Goals?
Me.
Nope. Good. Lyco?
Lyco, no.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. That was easy. No personal goal for Zora? No?
Oh yeah, I'll think of one for next time.
I mean, ideally I want
it'll
it to do it
probably
now.
be-
Ideally, I don't want to do goals at the start of sessions. I want them at the end of sessions, buddy.
This is maybe a bit too easy, but you.
We'll see what happens.
Discuss.
I like that you've typed that in a Starfinder chat, Colin, but like I typed in the actual map. I think was it CCD2 is what I went for. That's funny. Like I think you can see it just at the side of Demogesh just now. next to Zig's name,
Oh,
CCV2.
I see it.
Yeah,
see
I like that we went different options. You went for R2CC. Yeah.
I don't know if I do.
Okay, so inform the crew of Demogesh and his proposition and discuss. I think it's more a case of make a plan of action regarding that, right? Like, or put into effect a plan of action regarding that. Because that feels like effort's actually been done. Not just talking about it and making a plan, but actually starting the plan. Deal with step 1 of plan, you know?
I think we need to be getting onto the Yorks mission soon. That's my proposition. But I think we need to
Yeah.
be
I
cutting
think we need
this
to
alliance
gear up
off quick.
first.
I think we
Actually,
need
is
to
the
be
thing.
cutting that.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I think we need to be cutting this alliance off quick because that's my only way I can think about making him pull out. If he is actually being sincere about why I kill this guy.
Well, here we go. Let's just. I think that's our goals done. That was good. We haven't named the session, which is weird that I didn't start with that. What are we calling it? I mean, my one suggestion, at the moment at least, is year 2.
I was thinking just Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
It's almost a horizon.
Events on the horizon.
Events on horizon is a good one as well. She's sketchy as fuck.
It's up to you, yeah. Like, it's any other thoughts, guys? Any other? You know, where's
Conversations
CC?
with Vesk people.
Oh, the Vesk people. Yeah, it's good.
Veskism.
I've got another one. I feel like we've talked about it before, but the Vesk of a bad situation.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
Little Vest? No. Right, what are we voting for, guys? I feel like that was just me typing names here. Simply the Vesk. I like it.
I'm not sure. I'm just gonna take Events on the Horizon. That bitch's sketch. Yeah, fucking. Whatever the hell that is. Eggplant.
It's the Gill eggplant. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
You know what? I will give that my endorsement. Using a
I just assumed that what's on it.
hello.
Any other thoughts, folks?
Sorry. God.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I think we've got events on the horizon is the particulars. There we go. That's our name. Right. Wrap up chat time. Should we just start us off? Zora, I guess it feels right to start with you.
Right. So don't know what to take yet.
I feel like this is more like an open forum one, this wrap up chat, right? Like, I feel like it's a mixed bag.
Basically, Math has told me the opposite of what he's telling me. And Math seems sketch. I mean, it's obvious, right? I kill him, she becomes like the almighty fucking East person.
More powerful than. Yeah.
And then she gets to take out the backwards with the fleet because she's got control now. Like, that's why I had to ask that very abrupt question of.
Yeah, exactly.
Take your place. Like,
what I like though is like it was taken in a very Vesk way, right? Because he just laughed at what you're planning on killing me. Like, yeah, I think it's probably like an everyday question. Like in primary school, you visit the Vesk primary schools, and they go, "How do I get your job? You kill me in battle." Okay.
And honestly, I had a feeling like once he started speaking, I was like about that. I was like, honestly, I had a feeling that's what the answer was going to be. Like, but it was fun. It was enlightening. I don't know what to do. I mean, So I go fucking there and join up with that cunt. Dragons are there. That was fucking.
Yes, he did say he was a guest of the Dragons, right?
I mean, shit, man.
Well, we have been
That was like
preparing to kill a dragon.
This is very true. Somebody's got a whole
Oh.
fucking Exodus space full of dragon bits.
Good. But I genuinely think the best way to like split that whole fucking tobacco is to get Cindy back up and running.
You make it sound like a broken PC, but yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe a good idea is to maybe, sponge some goodies off of Hamani since he does always a deal,
So,
And gear up for the
technically
York
doesn't,
version.
right? And it's a bit jank, but Zig can probably explain why Himani doesn't owe you anything.
Oh, right, because he's fucking done some stupid time bollocks. Okay,
Yous
but
never-
it's
Yous never witnessed, like, Lantaral dying? Even though
it's
yous
just
did,
that,
right? But yous won't remember that now. Because Zig.
like,
It's been undone. Zeg's ruined everything.
I guess we just need to suck up. Well, I need to suck up my pride and go to the bank of Finida.
We need to stop Zeg, I agree.
Zig is the true enemy.
Before he does too much damage.
Mhm.
I think we need to go to the bank of Finida and just be like, Finida.
I mean,
he's a
Zig's
loan
pretty
to
loaded.
use." I mean, he is. He is, but he needs, like, probably about 40 grand's worth of shit.
Yeah, but didn't
As
he
well.
get, like, a lot from her?
I think he got 100k, didn't he?
Like, it was probably something like that, yeah. So, even if he does need 40k of that, it's still 60k worth of stuff.
I think all you just need to, like... I'm good for armour, right? I got up to date armour, but my weapon's like level 2.
Mhm.
Like, it's like...
Also, see if yous are able to chip in enough money to buy, like, the parts or provide weaponry to, like, get destroyed. Like, keep in mind you do have all the dragon bone stuff that you could probably build weapons out of. That we could find equivalent weaponry from the book in, right?
Get some like, weapons.
Right. Not
Oh,
even
fuck me.
like I don't mind if, like, obviously you can bullshit Magitech guns with dragon bones, right? I'm not against that. You do have that missile launcher on the Kivalari that could just have dragon fucking fang missiles built into it, right?
Sounds like a weird weapon.
Dragon Fang missile.
Just
Sounds like a fantastic weird weapon.
so that's a thing that could happen.
And I
I'm going to assume that was international mounted on me, is what I heard.
yes.
And I shall mount.
The world.
Pretty. If I can't use heavy weapons.
So anyway, but besides the wish list that we're writing just now, other thoughts?
It was good conspiracies. I don't know what to do. I don't know how the party what the party would do.
So
But
what
how
does
the
what does
party takes
Nico,
that
what does Nico think? Right, not Zora. What do you think?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't even know if I should take what he said like as truth or not. Like, I see. To be honest with you, I'm actually a lot more on the fence of I would believe that Matva would lie and do some sabotage more than he would.
Mhm.
I feel that he's just too smug about it. Like, he's
Plus,
just being-
like, you know enough
like-
about their careers that he does need to look good to stay in power, right? And she can literally shrug off horrible things as, well, this is what my job is, right? So if the Emperor went, justify this, I'm the Obsidian Star, we get the things done that you're not allowed to admit to, cool. Did you make my life easier today? Yes, good. Have a cookie, Whereas really the right hand is the important one, right? The one that's the public figure. So, yeah.
like I said, it's the fact that she would get a position if he died. Well,
Mhm.
for
Like-
temporarily, but you know what would happen if she ended up going and conquering like half a fucking department worlds or doing something, she would just get the right hand and just
Yeah.
be, "Ah, right, you just get it." Like,
Yup. You're guaranteed if she handed a solar system to the Emperor. 'Cause that isn't just a planet to the Viscarium. That's... Look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be huge. And we know the pack worlds are compromised, right? The stewards are in disarray. Like, the dragons are up to something, what we know. They seem to be weirdly humanitarian at the moment. The Yoxians are kind of fucked, and those would have been the best defense against, like, the Vesk. never mind the other planets in this system. So yeah,
In the grand scheme of things, you say the dragons are weirdly humanitarian. Never thought does it, right?
I mean, no, right?
We're in a chamber with more circling us, and we're like, hey, hi guys.
Yeah, like seemed fine, right? Remember their leader turned into like a kind of albino Vesk and had to chat with you and stuff. Like, yeah.
But nah, I mean, I don't know. Like, but we're assuming that all the dragons are like pure led by Himari, and I don't think that's the case.
Look, remember, like from that particular chamber, he's the one that was like stepped back in the shadows.
Yeah.
Like he was almost like out of favor.
Shrinking
Mhm.
violet.
Yup.
The wallflower.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
And
don't know.
remember, there were rumors way back when in Edgar's office, and it was he'd been embarrassed because of his fortune that had been like swindled out of him by the drow.
I didn't want to say it about Sunday to because obviously that would like
Mm-hmm.
destabilise his plan. And that's kind of what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he is here, like honestly, just to like try and get early brains and stuff, like hopefully, like maybe if the Auxians are stronger, it will kind of dissuade them a bit.
But you've got like so bringing back Sindel will make the Eoxians stronger, right? Fundamentally, you're adding a Bone Sage. Also, it kind of makes you guys in a better position because you know Sindel likes Lyko, and you know that Lyko really wants Sindel because it seems like Sindel's project was the Barai, from what he was led to believe by Ramasethu. Also, if you get Sindel back, Ramasethu will be happy with you guys. That's 2 Bone Sages in your corner.
That's like a quarter of the Bone Sages.
Also, that is more than enough for most Vesk problems you'd face going forward. As you have said many times this session, Nico, 1 Bone Sage is a problem for the Viscarium. It's not bad, right? So that is...
This is what I was trying to get through you.
But like, read into that though, read into that. He's happy for the Bone Sages to be killed by the Illibrian.
Well, but no, he wants to go fight the Illibrian. Or also he says...
Well, I mean, he's happy to be allies with those who want to fight the Illibrian, yes. Doesn't mean to say he's going to risk Vesk lives to do it.
They're definitely both using each other.
100%, right? Like, how could they
There's
not?
no way this is a sincere, like, best interests at heart kind of alliance. This is how can I maneuver this person into standing in front of my enemy for
Uh-huh. Yep. 100%. And do you blame them, right? Like,
No.
Tactilanus is in the stronger position, right? This
But,
is
you
his
know,
solar system, right?
It really is. For me, it's like I have a sorting algorithm of bounties, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Whose name is going on the bullet, essentially?
Well,
is
who's top of Lyco's list in that regard, then?
At the moment, that's a good question.
So, like, is it, like... My guess would be, right, if Lyco had the hit list, is the Illibrian at the top?
I'm not convinced I can do anything to her directly, so no.
Okay, but I mean, we could call it a wish list, if not a hit list. Yeah.
Like, hypothetically, once we go to the stage
hypothetical.
of like, what is
We
the
can harm
end
them
goal? Yes.
potentially, but we don't know what is it trying to achieve.
Exactly right.
We don't know. There may be possible to talk this thing down. Lyco isn't just bloodthirsty.
True.
You know, at the moment, he's deeply suspicious of everyone, but basically, clearly something was going on here because this level of coincidence just doesn't sit right with Lyco.
Mhm.
These many moving parts, he imagines there's at least some coordination there. And obviously that was attached to the Obsidian Star.
Mhm.
So at the moment, he's quite eager to find out what their dealings have been in this whole affair. Because unlike, unlike Zora,
Mhm.
he has no particular attachment to anything related to the Viscarium. And has very good reason to be skeptical of them all.
Mm.
So though I'm not convinced that that's quite the route it's going down. I think that's definitely, as soon as the Obsidian Star became involved in this ship incident,
Mm-hmm.
the possibility that the Viscarium are playing them in some way, or that maybe the Obsidian Star is in fact really the more pressing threat. Not quite sure. I mean, I'm not quite sure either. Like, I think as a player, I think we're being pushed that way. But the real answer is that none of these groups really have our best interests at heart.
I mean, everybody has a motive.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dimigash has a motive. He's not going to, like,
Well,
exactly like you
absolutely.
say, he's no better just to go help
And
and fight the Librian threat that everybody wants to kill because, hurrah. That's just.
Lyco, I think having out of character, I think I still see the Mogish as a problem, and this has only reinforced that. Even if it has given me reason to doubt that he is the main issue at the moment. That maybe actually his current arrangement with Tectolinis could even be useful, but I think he's still pretty high up the list because clearly he is working with one eye to getting this war back on. He's not particularly subtle about it. Obviously, he was talking to another Vesk.
Mm-hmm.
And Hermione's got to be up there
Mm-hmm.
because Hermione is just clearly up to no good.
He's on like a massive fucking entire quest arc of his own, isn't he? Like, he's definitely been up to nonsense. And keep in mind, so I'll let you meta that as well. Keep in mind, obviously, based on what I've told you just there about how you don't remember, like, that vault situation, right?
Yeah.
With the, obviously, Lantoral, which means you never gave him the liquid queen, which means he never got access to that vault. So, like, what would that make him need to do, right? So then, you've obviously seen the cutscene of him talking to Emma O, right? Obviously, these things are put in there because of crazy bullshit timeline nonsense that happens. So, yeah, there is a lot going on. Hermione is obviously on his own fucking agenda. Like, it'd be interesting to know who led the charge on Let's Be the People Rebuilding Absalom, right? Especially since it's above Triaxis.
I mean, MO is on the list.
Oh yeah.
Professionally, so is Edgar.
Mm-hmm. Poor Edgar. But yeah.
Fuck Edgar.
I think the only issues are going to have... Yeah, I was going to say, like, the only issue you have is none of you particularly like him, but, like, Zig does.
Mm-hmm. I know he does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Zig, but he's going to have to die one day.
Also, so Zig likes Edgar, and Zig had some very odd conversations with Isabel when he came back.
Yes.
Very odd. And then, obviously, from the cutscene, you know that Isabel spoke to Edgar. So, like, there's some weird triangle with them going on as well.
I've said it before, we have to stop Zig.
Yeah.
Zig.
I don't know if you can. There's a thing I'm just going to say.
Supernova handles all, man. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, but then you supernova, and when the flames clear away, you see that he's glowing like a fucking sun anyway. And he's
That's
just
fine.
anime villains
Fine.
laughing at you.
He's so fire immune in that mode. What is he actually?
I don't know. He's Zig. He has the fucking burning sun. Like, no, like, Zig nonsense aside, right? Because that's just a thing that's going to happen regardless.
Sun, but I'm an exploding sun, alright?
Like, obviously, like, do you remember that part where the eggs seemed super important and now they seem like they're no longer important as well? That's also a thing that seems like, obviously, well, doesn't seem like the Mogesh cares about any of that nonsense. So that's at least a plus, right? There was no mention of eggs, which was probably good for the captain not to bring up.
Yeah, I tried to keep. I tried to be sort of, again, as semi-truthful, but not giving the whole picture.
Yeah, like vague honesty. Yeah. I think it was a very good conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed the Demogesh Zora conversation a lot. It was good. I liked the fact that you get to like reveal big plot points as well. Like actually, he supported you getting like a massive promotion and like a commission of your own, and like basically your own ship and crew and whatnot. Yeah, but in the military, not in the Obsidian Star. And obviously, Matva was like, "Nah, you get kicked out, buddy. Bye. Off you go, away." And the Emperor's like,
I mean, it
"Yes,
makes
Matva's
sense.
right."
She doesn't want like Obsidian style like tactics and secrets and all that shit falling into like just the army's hands, if you know what I mean.
I mean, the thing is though, right? It's an interesting one because obviously, yeah, it makes sense, but she was kicking you out, and obviously Demogesh wanted you, right? It's not to say that because Demogesh wanted you, you were kicked out, right? That's
You
important.
want me because I'm a fucking asset that knows all
100%, yes.
Goodies.
Like, not only that though, but like, being a Solarian's pretty bitchin' as well, right? Like, that's like proper like secret Obsidian Star bullshit in the Viscarian world. So, yeah, that is good to have. You'd be a massive asset, and you were well decorated. You look good. You make him look good if he'd secured you, right? You'd be his trophy Vesk, literally,
Decorated, taking a fucking beat.
right? Yeah.
Balls get alive, right?
But that's it, right? And you look good because you make the Emperor look good, right? You saving diplomats makes the Emperor look good. That's all he cares about. He needs to look good so everything works for him. And yeah, makes sense. But yeah, like trickling all the way down to like Matva being shifty. I think we always knew Matva was going to be shifty. She's in charge of like a shady organization.
She was shifty.
I mean, literally, she captured you in broad daylight, right? It was like, prepare for abduction. Wabam.
I mean, honestly, right, it's like we said earlier, we know that all the Vesk quite evade the pack world. Matva wants to, fucking Higgy wants, Demogesh wants to. Like, it's just sort of time frame.
Matva definitely did not like hint at caring about invasion one way or the other. She was very concerned about wrapping up the swarm. Like, you could probably guess, right, if you had to work out from your experience of Matva, if she got to be in charge, you could guess that she would pull every Vesk out of the Pact World and go destroy the swarm. Like, she would just focus on the swarm first, then move the Veskarium into the Pact Worlds. That is what you would guess before all the shade was thrown on her by Demogesh, right? Because that makes sense, right? That's her plan. And obviously, her issue with Demogesh is that he wants to pull more people away from the Viscarium swarm fight into the Pact World to fight here, to claim the Pact Worlds. Obviously, it makes sense if Demogesh removes the big chess pieces from the board first, like the Eoxians, specifically Bone Sages, because they're the only problem, really. Everybody else could mount a fight, but Vesk like fights. But the Bone Sages are, well, as you said, like they slaughter. There's not really a fight, it's just a blender. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting, like, power play that seems to be going. Obviously, if Demogesh is to be trusted, like, obviously Zora thinks everything he said was on the level, but like...
I mean, my sense was not great. I mean, the first robe wasn't awful, right?
No, like, the thing is, neither of them were particularly bad, and as I said, there was like zero hint of anything untoward, because he doesn't really need to lie in his position, right? Like, literally anyone would be like, the Vesk going to take over, so... But,
like I said, that's why it makes more sense that Saboteur would be Matva than anything else.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that's a surprise. Even like, I think if you explained all this to Lyko would be like, well, the spy's the spy, right? Like, that makes sense. So, any other like burning thoughts from tonight's session that people wish to like bring to the surface?
Demogesh, but we can't kill Demogesh. We did just make him like go suicide delivering. That's my burning thought.
Okay, interesting. Need to try and push him, like make it a, Urgalas versus Demogesh boss fight.
I mean, he would just be going into suicide, but then that's not an assassination. It doesn't start a war, right?
I mean,
he just went into glorious battle and died.
True, yeah. And I mean, hey, you play your cards right? Maybe you could get into position to be the next potential right hand.
I don't know about that. I mean, maybe that's maybe like the last episode. That's the last scene of the whole story, and I'm just stopping the vest for like trying to invade the backworlds. That's my whole life for now on. Please don't attack pact birds.
This is
Please.
the secret game where Zora was the Vesk fucking infiltrator from the start to claim the Pact World anyway. As we have joked many times. Okay. Any other thoughts, people? Like Lyco or Weird? Any particular thoughts on the session?
My thoughts are that I'm quite tired. No.
Phallus?
Yeah, obviously it wasn't the longest, the fullest length session because we were getting started, and I think we're all a bit tired as well. Well, we did get a little bit of movement in the plot. Seemingly, the captain has kind of revised his thoughts on Demogesh at the moment because he certainly seems to be, at the very least, convinced of the honesty of what he said, and is therefore, perhaps looking at Matva as the sort of threat.
Both need
In
to
terms
be
of,
Also, somebody's
Well, yeah,
responsible
both
for
of but
the weaponry, right? That weapon that was attempted to be sold.
yes, and we have good reason to suspect that she could be involved.
Turning up with
But
the
on the other
perfect
hand-
fit case, yes.
That does seem a little. That seems like they wanted to be seen. It feels to me intentional.
And
I
also with the
think
phone call,
Lyco sees
the
it that way
well-timed
too.
phone call, right? From Demogesh specifically. Appearing on the final hour. Like,
True.
time code in sync with, you discovering the key Valari. It's not unsuspicious.
Yes, indeed. And I think once Lyco finds that out, he is going to be very suspicious of Demogesh, but that won't necessarily mean he doesn't take the point that, yeah, these are Matva's people, and they clearly have some involvement. So, but then Matva and Demogesh might be both working together and working against each other simultaneously behind the scenes. I get the impression that in the Viscarium, at the higher levels at least, there's a lot of double dealing going on. So, who can say?
Indeed.
Yeah, we got a little bit of plot advancement there, and we're sort of beginning to wrap up the Kivalari arc.
Indeed. I have actually loved the key Valari arc. I'm not gonna
As have
lie.
I.
Very good fun.
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. The peak political bullshit, right? It's been good. Yeah. Weird, any thoughts? Maybe. Good. Good. I like it. Anything you wish to vent?
We're very quiet.
You are very, very muffled quiet.
Yeah.
Could you come closer?
Nothing's changed.
There we go.
since that.
Perfect.
That's
Perfect.
fucking beautiful.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I wonder if that was a loose wire. Okay.
Your thoughts, buddy? Oh, you're back.
Oh,
You're back to be
just got
muffled.
away.
I know what's
Perfect. There we go.
Okay.
Stay there.
I know exactly what's happened. It's no longer picking up the microphone from the headset.
Ah, that makes perfect sense,
So
actually.
you're now here through my phone.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
I shall hold it here. Can I explain some? No, I think what I really enjoyed was that kind of hitting the second anniversary felt like it really pulled in a Zora mystery, where previously we've kind of commented on the way Zora's kind of the glue or the strong point holding it together, as the other three wild cannons fly off. Whereas now, there's sort of a twist going on. There's conspiracy centered on Zora.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. The delay, obviously, scheduling worked out quite nicely. I think for it to be perfectly situated. I am pleased by this as well. It does feel quite full circle-esque. For that reason, I like the fact that Zora got some, by the way, here's some more about why you're in this situation in the first place. It's good. I like it.
A backstory.
Because I think there's a lot of times where it does feel quite Zora light, right? I do think there is a lot of situations where it does feel like I mean, there's a lot of weird deciding what the universe is and what he is in the universe.
I'm
And
kind of fine with that though.
Mhm.
I'm kind of fine with that.
Like, I'll be honest, I am too, because I know you are, right? Like, so from a GMing point of view, I don't feel like I need to force you into scenes because I get that you're playing the character the way you like to play it. And obviously we get a lot of Lyko a lot, as well as Weird and Zig, and obviously those are 3 basically separate campaigns usually. Right, we've got, I enjoy that because they're very different types of games as well, which is fun. And the fact that these are all from the one ship sometimes is handy. You now have 3 ships, right? Look at that. I've given you a campaign ship each. And yeah, I really enjoyed being able to pull some of the focus back to Zora specifically. I loved dropping the Demogesh bomb at the end of the previous session. It was good fun. I liked the fact that we then had to wait tentatively as the audience for that scene. Hope it was worth it. Hope people enjoyed it. Hope the revelations were, at least worth the wait.
It didn't go terribly. I didn't start a war.
Nope.
I got some info. I feel like I might have got some info. I don't know though.
We know
I
that.
feel like I did.
Yeah.
I really do. Like I said, I just feel like he's telling the truth because he's too fucking strong to know. Like.
Plus, like, when you're in this position, as I said before, you don't really need to lie, right? Like, that's other people's jobs below you. So, yeah. The fact that he personally calmed you is a big deal. And that shouldn't be lost on you. And the fact that he opened it with, like, calling you the Abyss, respectfully, right? Like, all of those are big things, whereas, like, in front of the other Vesk back on Versus, like, he just dismissively referred to you as, like, Zora.
It was so fucking dirty, just that, as if I was not part of this guy, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But then, who's to say what that was about? Maybe that was a game as well, right? It's good though. As I said, I'm enjoying that. I like the fact that you had a conversation and you were Zora about the whole situation. You didn't like fall back into the rank and file of the Viscarium. You stayed, no, I am out. Even though I'm maybe not out. Right? It was good. I like that you admitted that you were like working for the Obsidian Star, because he was like, well, you don't need to lie to me. Like, unless you're working against me, in which case you don't need to lie because I'll know. Right? Like, he's a pretty straightforward guy.
I mean, I'm technically working against them for the Obsidian Star, but I was thinking of that and folks didn't have to.
Exactly, right? And obviously there's probably a million and one things he's got in mind that he doesn't feel the need to tell you, but everything he did tell you, Zora is at least convinced he is being on the level with. So, as I said, no hint of suspicion at all with the roles that you got. And he...
Definitely not going to that planet to fucking join him, though. It's just not on the fucking table.
I don't think many people blame you, right? I don't think MD would blame you.
Right. It's on the
like,
table.
come to Triaxis, it's not a trap, right? As he puts the hand out to you. But,
Even if it wasn't a trap, the advantage is to just join in on like the big Librian clusterfuck.
But like, so from a
I don't know.
political point of view though, that is a big thing for him to personally ask that of you, right? That is, so don't like, that's essentially the Emperor rolling out the red carpet, right? That's that level of, he personally calmed you, he let you have your personal conversation as he waited, and then made his offer. That is 3 massive steps that you wouldn't have been worth before.
I see it being a trap just to go there. I just wouldn't what the angle would be.
Exactly. But then obviously you have a lot of angles you can work out as well. As I don't think you're wrong in thinking the Eoxane stuff is maybe something to focus on next, because it gives you some power. Like rearming, re-weaponizing, taping up Zig, and then like Eox or Akaton and get something set up. You could even do both, right? So you could send people off to go get like equipment, and then you could send people off to set up Akaton as your base of operations if need be, right? Like, it's probably worth using your assets, pooling them together. You've got 3 ships. They can all at least get from A to B, just not all of them with drift, and not all reliably. The Azure Flare has no weapons, so that's something to consider. You might want to give it some sneaky teeth, So, yeah. Yeah, some sneaky teeth. You might want to give it that, so it can do something in a fight. Even if it's just like electronic warfare, You might want to give it something. So, besides that, though, guys, that was a really fun, haphazard but fun 2-year anniversary session. As I said, it was nice to at least checkpoint the game. Hopefully, we will be full strength, not next week, but at some point, we should be full strength again.
Still on next week.
I don't know. I wouldn't hate rescheduling, but we'll talk about all that off camera. So, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. And Colin, who's on mute.